Leads us in the invocation and the pledge. Thank you.
Almighty God, our Heavenly Father, we're so deeply grateful for the many blessings that you have given us. We do come before your throne now and ask that your blessings will be upon our deliberations. May we always do what is right and good for our children and our employees. In thy name we pray. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call. Vote now. Show them. Thank you. We jump right to the visitors part of the board meeting. The Caddo Parish School Board welcomes your input and comments as we poll the audience regarding items that are subject to the work session or the executive committee meeting. If you'd like to speak to the item as the subject of the work session, please come to the podium, state your name and address for the record. When it's your time to speak, step to the microphone, make your remarks to the entire board, and limit your comments to no more than 3 minutes. The time clock is on the monitor to help you be aware of your time. When the time runs out, your time is up. It is the board's policy not to respond individually to members of the audience. And when appropriate, the board may refer concerns to staff to be addressed. As this is a public meeting, we ask you to refrain from referring to personnel by name or incident. Thank you. Since this is a special meeting to address superintendent candidates, I will offer the first opportunity for comments to our advisory committee chair. Okay, with the, I think I have to, since we have advertised it this way, the consent of the board to go ahead and let McPherson to present the no other business. Yeah, there's one. Mr. Hughes has signed to speak, and then but this is after our advisory committee chair.
No, I waived. I've had a conversation with the attorney.
Okay. All right, since there are no other, then we can proceed. Mr. Monero, would you please introduce our guest?
Yes, sir, I will. At this time, we have McPherson and Jacobson. We have Tom Jacobson and Wayne Gibson representing the firm, and we'll turn the podium over to Mr. Jacobson.
Thank you. It's good to be with you again to present candidates. This is the exciting part of the search, is when you're selecting those that you would like to meet and get to know more about as you proceed with the process. We were pleased with the process. We had 12 completed applicants. We forwarded 7 on to you that we felt were meeting your criteria. Our review and reference checks were ongoing after we forwarded those to you. And I'm going to ask that we remove Dr. Green from consideration after we did some additional checking for that. So what we would like to do is give you an overview of the 6 that we have and what we have found out about them, and give you an opportunity to ask us questions. And we're going to ask you to do some selecting of who you want to invite in and meet and get to know more information about. So I had the opportunity to screen Dr. Romain Dalaman. He is probably the most controversial of the 6 that we have sent forward. I know he called me last week and he said there is a committee in Macon, Georgia that has been campaigning against him, and we understand that. We think he has some values to be considered as we present him to you. He's been a superintendent for 5 years in Georgia and Minnesota. He's been assistant superintendent in Connecticut. The thing that he has done consistently where he's been is raise student achievement. And he has a good record of doing that and closing the achievement gap where he's been. He's a change agent. He's not adverse to undertaking challenging situations. He's described by the references as being a visionary strategic thinker. His ideas and recommendations are always well researched and they're data-based. He's not opposed to think outside the box and tends to perform better in progressive environments. He represents the school district very well in the public. He's very professional and articulate. Student-centered. His decisions that he makes are for the good of the students. Also has the ability to surround himself with good leaders and has excellent team building skills. Demonstrated ability to engage all stakeholders in strategic planning and buy-in. Was reported that the Bibb County made academic progress at every level during his 2 years as superintendent. He's characterized as a visionary, a change agent, a strategic thinker, dedicated and committed, passionate about public education, unique and international leader, courageous, ethical, and dignified. He got politically crosswise in Macon, Georgia, and his contract was terminated, and I just want you to know that. But the fact that he has a documented success in student achievement, I think what we are hoping to do today is present to you some choices so that you can choose from this group of people, and we believe that he's one to be presented as a choice to you. Next we have John Dilworth.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to speak briefly about John Dilworth, candidate for superintendent here in Caddo Parish. Mr. Dilworth has worked previously here in Caddo Parish in past years. Most recently, he was superintendent of the East Baton Rouge School District and also Montgomery, Alabama. He has a proven record of accomplishment in education spanning some 35 years on both the college and K through 12 levels. A diverse education and work experience has provided him with a unique background, creating a leadership style that motivates students, parents, faculty, staff, administration, community, and business leaders. Some of the things that were said about him during the vetting process, he's a consensus builder, a good manager and budgeter, as well as being a visionary. One board member from a former district said, if we could, I'd hire him back today. He's not a yes man. He's a gentleman, a family man, works well with the staff and community, and was able to pull businesses together in a former district in support of the schools, which had never been done on that scale before. He consolidated some schools, but there were not any budget cuts. He's all about children. Another board member and a person in the community said we always enjoyed working with him and visiting with him, and he would be a person that could hit the ground running here in Caddo Parish. That was Mr. John Dilworth. The next one would be Mr. Jerry Payne. Mr. Payne has been a superintendent in the St. Helena Parish School District in Bogalusa and also Pine Bluff, Arkansas. He's currently a self-employed consultant. It mentions here his tenures have been brief because of a failure to renew his contracts that doesn't seem plausible according to the reference sources. Mr. Payne is said to be very popular with the student population because of his genuine, caring spirit. He worked in an interim period in the Monroe City School District as principal of one of the most challenging high schools there, and he worked hard and was received well by both the students and the community. Mr. Payne left St. Helena after an opportunity came available in Bogalusa. Because he disciplined an employee for wrongdoing and the employee took some drastic measures, the board held Payne responsible and decided not to renew his contract. Because the existing board was not the board who selected Payne in Pine Bluff, there were differences in directions once new board members came aboard, and as a result, his contract was not renewed. He has a strong desire and yearns for the opportunity to serve students. He is certified in Louisiana as a superintendent, and he's very familiar with state regulations and standards. His level of commitment is an indicator of his willingness to serve the Caddo Parish School Board. That was Mr. Jerry Oscar Payne.
Ms. Dunn screened the next two candidates, and I have her notes and have visited with her about them and would like to present them to you. Agnella Catrice Pereira. She has a postmaster's in administration supervision from Virginia, a master's degree from Mary Baldwin College. She's currently superintendent in Isle Wright District in Virginia, enrollment about 5,000 students. But she has also worked as an area superintendent in Houston, which is a large district, and she has large district experience because of that. She's a Louisiana native from the Lake Charles area. She would like to return to the native area to continue her mission as superintendent, has moved through the lines of progression as an educator from teacher to principal to administrator, officer, area superintendent, and superintendent. She was a finalist in the school district in Florida, but withdrew her application when an opportunity to return home was possible. She worked in the Houston School District a year as an area superintendent overseeing 15 schools. The opportunity came for her to lead a school district, and she took the job at Isle of Wright School District. She's described as a courageous leader, is known on the national level to affect change in her schools. She has served as a mentor for many and is truly good at building leaders. As expectations change on the state level, one needs a superintendent who will stay in front of the ball. She's an advocate for children, does professional development as outsourcing service when called upon. Through the atmosphere is thick in Isle of Wright School District based on a negative comment from a board member and a city council member that got national attention because they disagreed with the decision to make large investment in instructional technology. Pereira feels that a wise decision needs to be made for the benefit of children. The size of the district will not interfere with her entry plan as she's able to positively impact more students. That's Agnella Pereira. Excuse me. Dr. Mary Nash Robinson, you know her well. She's an employee of yours currently and has a lot of the skills that you're looking for. She's been an employee of the Caddo Parish District for approximately 40 years, has moved through the lines of progression as an educator, beginning as classroom teacher, principal, and administrator. Very smart, capable, people person, and the children love her. She has a wide range when it comes to communication skills, and she is able to communicate on all levels and is successful in reaching her targeted audience. The employee has worn so many hats and has served in almost every capacity as a testament to her ability to run a school district. Dr. Robinson has been the voice and the face of Caddo Parish system. She's a morale booster, knows the pulse of the community, is highly respected. Her high level of visibility in the community is an attribute for the school district. She can be depended on to placate situations during times of turmoil. When asked about Dr. Robinson, one reference stated, "She is someone we don't want to lose." That's Dr. Mary Nash Robinson.
Dr. Theodore Thompson. Dr. Thompson began his educational career in Columbus, Ohio. He's currently the Deputy Chief of the Office of School Turnaround in the District of Columbia. In that role as Deputy Chief, he designed the current office system of school supports and organizational structure, and he amended several federal grants to ensure alignment with current best practices and accountability measures for school awardees. In his tenure in the Philadelphia school system, he served as Deputy Chief of Secondary School Reform for the district, and in that role, he managed a portfolio of grants, schools, academic supports, interventions, accelerated learning programs, high school report card system, district-wide scheduling. He piloted programs with the district, with various district initiatives in the Philadelphia system. In the Columbus system, he was a K through 12 leader, principal, executive director there for several years. Some of the things that were said about Dr. Thompson: he's a visionary, he's very innovative, extremely bright, he communicates well, he's a consensus builder, but he's not a pushover. He has a deep compassion for students, and he's very politically astute. Handles budgetary items very well, assesses situations before wading into them. Curriculum is his strong suit. Some said his weakness is that he's a workaholic. He increased graduation rates and believes that all children can succeed. Dr. Theodore Thompson.
That's our verbal presentation of the 6 individuals. Now we'll respond to any questions that you may have, if any.
First, if you would, I would like to give Reverend Gant the opportunity to give a report or comments on behalf of the Advisory Search Committee.
Thank you, President Rams. I would like to ask the members of the Advisory Committee who are present, will you please stand? Mr. President and members of the Caddo Parish School Board, my name is Joe R. Gant, and my business address is 5823 Ledbetter Street, Shreveport. I serve as chairman of the Superintendent Search Advisory Committee, along with co-chair John Albritton. I want to personally thank the board for having the foresight to appoint members to and create the Superintendent Search Advisory Committee, which is comprised of 29 members. The committee met on several occasions and averaged 23 members present. The committee helped create the search criteria for the possible successful superintendent candidate, which included, among other criteria, the possession of excellent leadership skills, strong communication and listening skills, as well as successful experience as an administrator in a similar size district. Furthermore, several members of the committee attended community forums and heard the suggestions by the community. Among the suggestions from the community was a strong desire for the board to hire a local candidate. The committee met and reviewed the applicant information. The committee met and voted that it present a recommendation to the Caddo Parish School Board that you would interview the following candidates: John Dilworth and Dr. Mary Nell Robinson, and any other, a third candidate if the board felt strongly about that person. Again, we want to thank you for your time and your consideration and the privilege that we've had to serve.
Thank you, Reverend Gant, and all of the committee members that participated. We do appreciate your time. We value your time and your opinion. Now, we do have one other speaker that has turned in a request. Mr. Hughes, would you like to?
No, I'll wait.
Okay.
I visit with Mr. Abrams.
I'll open it up to questions by the board. If you would register on the queue.
Mr. President, or would it be in order to make a motion as to how many candidates to interview at this time?
Well, if we don't have any questions, I think there's some other suggestions or comments that we have.
What we would recommend is we have a list of the 6 candidates and your list, that we hand those out and ask you to choose 3 individuals. You're not hiring a superintendent today. What you're doing is you're deciding who do you want to get more information about, who do you want to meet, who do you want to get a feel for. We know these people on paper and through reference checks, but it's when you sit down across the table from them that's the important part of intuitive decision making. So if it's a pleasure of the board, we'll pass those forms out, have you each select 3. We will tally that, and from there decide if you have 2 or 3 that you want to interview. Is that acceptable?
Just for information, these tally sheets will be a matter of public record. Everyone will know and will be named at some point on exactly how you voted. And you see these sheets, there's a column that has your name, board members. And what we're asking you to do is to check the 3 candidates that you would like to interview. And they will give a tally. And these voting sheets will be made part of the public record and will be written into the minutes on how each board member voted. Just want to be clear on that because we do have to vote publicly, but I think this is a good way of doing it, and it's difficult to project that on the screen. So there are a couple of questions on the board. Does everyone understand how we're talking? You're not through with your?
No, sir.
Okay.
I appreciate Mr. Jacobson's information, but I would like to limit that and with my motion, because I think that we don't necessarily have to vote on 3. And I would like to make that clear. I think that we could limit our inquisition, so to speak, to 2 candidates.
Well, I think we could do that by saying up to 3 or what? Okay.
Okay.
We're not ready for the motion yet.
All right.
But if
Thank
those
you,
are your
Mr.
comments
Abrams.
you would prefer to. Ms. Crawl.
I just wanted to say that I agree with Mrs. Armstrong that we have 2 strong candidates and that the advisory board agrees. My other issue is that I would like to interview 3 or 4, so that would require...
You're asking questions now. You're not giving directions or...
So what am I supposed to be doing? Asking questions?
Yeah.
Okay, my question is, I'm telling you what I would like, and then I'm going to ask you what I want to do, how to do it. Okay? You interrupt too much, sir.
Okay.
What I'm saying is, I would like to interview 3 or 4 but not from our pool. So how could we go about getting additional local, very tight Arklatex candidates? I would like to know how to do that, and I would like to do that before we proceed. I know we have good candidates, but I want to know that I think regionally, that we didn't get enough applicants. When you look at the RFD, how many they got, I think we could get some
You
more
are out of
candidates.
order now. Mr. Ryle, you're the next speaker.
Thank you, President Ramsey. Question. If we choose 2 or 3 candidates to interview, does that automatically eliminate the other candidates from choosing, or?
Yes.
I mean, in other words, they're out of the picture once we choose 3.
Correct.
Okay, that's the only question I have.
Ms. Trammell.
Mr. President, I think I'm listening right. My question is, with the process of 2 people, and I'm not saying it's going to happen, if one of the people decide that they do not want to try or bid for the candidacy of superintendent, we've not elected a superintendent, they elected themselves. So you have to always look at what you're doing too. One back out, you only have 1. So you have to do an increased number to make sure that you've got a pool of people to select from, although, you know, y'all might have an idea of what you want to do. Always think about that. All right.
Ms. Armstrong.
Yes, sir.
You're Ms. Bell.
Yeah, okay. My question is this, that, did we not select an advisory committee to give us recommendations? We did that, right?
And they've done that.
They've done that, okay. Then we not have community meetings to hear from our constituents as a whole. They've done that, right?
Right.
Okay. What I'm looking at, the advisory committee who we trusted from all departments was 29. The community, number 1, who we trusted. And I feel like the advisory committee, okay, it's a question, the advisory committee is really speaking.
We're getting away. If you have any questions, if you have any questions about the process, let's
Did not that our advisory committee speak for our community? That's a question. Board member, okay? Now, what I like to ask, I know that if they feel, if, that's a question, that is strong enough to have 2 candidates with speaking for the majority, is that not adequate enough to have 2 candidates? This is a question. I don't know who's going to answer it, but anyway,
it is the board's responsibility to make that determination.
Okay.
You want me to finish the answer?
Yes, sir.
Okay. It is the board's responsibility to determine how many candidates we select and who those candidates are.
Okay.
So what we have to do is determine what process we'll follow.
Okay,
today.
what process?
And that's what the questions,
That's the question.
that's what we're supposed to be doing now.
Okay.
Okay.
Mine-
I think we already have a suggestion, or some comments about, can we just do 2 candidates? Yes, we can do just 2 candidates if that's the board's wishes.
That's my
Yes.
question. You said,
Can we go outside this list? No. We've done the search. We've got this group of candidates. So what we're here today is to determine who we're going to interview for the job. Now the question is, how many are we going to interview? That's the question. How many candidates does this board choose to interview? Okay.
that's my question.
All right. And if there's, for all the folks remaining on the board, the question is, if we've answered those questions, that's the question we're trying to address. Now, if we have a motion, and I'm going to clear the board, if we have a motion, make a motion. I'm ready to entertain a motion. Ms. Crawley.
I move that we open up the advertisement and locally and try to get at least 2 more to interview so we won't be down to just 3. Do I have a second? Nobody? Okay.
There is no second. All right. Mr. Ryle.
Thank you, President Ramsey. I move that we entertain a quota of 3 people to interview.
I have a second. Okay, the motion is to interview 3 candidates from this list, and the second by Ms. Priest. Mr. Ryle, do you have any other comments?
Yes, I'd like to concur with Ms. Trammell. She made it just like if we just interview 2 and 1 decides to drop out, then it automatically selects. We need to at least have 3, I believe.
Right, okay. All right, Ms. Priest, any comments? You were the second, okay. Ms. Crawley?
Our attorney has told me, and I'll ask him, if we got down to just 1, my problem is I don't want to waste money on people that no one's recommending. I just spoke with the attorney. I'm going to ask him, if we get down to just 1 candidate, is that our new superintendent?
No, the board would have to vote on the new superintendent. There's also going to be issues associated with salary, all the conditions associated with the new superintendent. So you could get down to 2 and 3 and then you not end up with an agreement as to what you're going to pay the candidate. So it's not done deal just because everyone drops out. It may mean the board will end up in the process all over again, starting to do it again if you get down to it. But it doesn't automatically select the other person.
I move that we select the 2 as we have been advised.
It's already there.
He said 3. I said 2. I'm substitute motion. 2 as advised by us. It's while we keep the taxpayers' money in mind.
Okay, well, excuse me, I'm losing my voice. All right, we have a substitute motion to go with 2 and a second. Any other comments, Ms. Crawford? That's it?
I accidentally made them. I think we should be mindful of our budget. And could I ask how much more it would cost? About what does it cost each time? Don't ask those questions? Okay. Well, whatever.
We can.
It is an
ask,
addition.
but I don't know if we have.
Okay, I don't have to know an amount. It is an additional expense for everyone we invite, right, President?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Mr. Hooks? Okay. We'll vote on the substitute motion to select 2 candidates to move forward. Please vote now. A yes vote means we'll go with 2 candidates. A no vote means we'll go to the next motion. Ms. Green, and you ready? Show the vote. Our motion fails. The next vote will be to go with 3 candidates. I probably could have done this without a vote, but please vote yes if you want to go with 3 candidates, and no if not. Still a vote. Okay. There will be 3 candidates. I had one other, someone sent forth a request to speak after we had started. Ms. Banderas, Bonita Banderas. The request was too late. We were past the visitor section. Is And my apologies that that wasn't made clear. Okay. Now, we're back to choosing the 3 candidates.
We have a sheet of paper again with all 6 names, and your name is at the top. We'll pass those out, and if you will select up to 3 that you would like to invite in for interview. Three individuals. Their name is- I've been told that I also have to read who you voted for, so that it gets into the record, so I will do that. But there are 3 individuals that received majority of votes. One person received 1 vote. John Dilworth, Agnella Pereira, and Mary Nash Robinson received votes to be interviewed, and Theodore Thompson received 1 vote to be interviewed. So it would be John Dilworth, Agnella Pereira, and Mary Nash Robinson. And here's how you voted. Carl Peterson, Dilworth, Pereira, Robinson. Larry Ramsey, Dilworth, Pereira, Robinson. Barry Trammell, Dilworth, Pereira, Robinson. Curtis Hooks, Dilworth, Robinson. Steve, how do you pronounce your last name? Steve Ryle, Dilworth, Pereira, Robinson. Charlotte Crawley, Dilworth, Robinson. Jasmine Green, Dilworth, Pereira, Robinson. Lillian Priest, Dilworth, Pereira, Robinson. Dottie Bell, Dilworth, Pereira, Robinson. Ginger Armstrong, Dilworth Robinson, and Bonita Crawford, Dilworth, Robinson, and Thompson. Crawley, I'm sorry. No. Crawford. Yeah, it was Crawford. I'm sorry. So we will contact those 3 individuals and set up their interviews. Mr. Gibson will call them now and see to get it lined out. Beginning on July 22nd, so we'll look at July 22nd, 23rd, and 24th for your interview process. In your packet, there's a copy of the interview schedule, and you can look that over. Your formal interview is scheduled for 4:30 in the district boardroom. The candidates will be here for the full day. They'll have an opportunity to be greeted by members of the board. They will receive a tour of your district. There will be an open meeting for the Superintendent Advisory Committee at 10:45, and then a media conference at 2 o'clock, a general public meet and greet at 3 o'clock, and then the formal interview with the board, followed by a dinner with the candidate and their spouse. Also in your packet are your interview questions. And we'll have to have Victor make sure we have 3 sets of questions for each of you to do this. But there's some instructions on there for the interview process as to how it proceeds. Our recommendation is that each board member get an opportunity to ask some questions, and so that you decide ahead of time how you want to handle that, whether it be round robin or assigned questions, but that you have an opportunity to engage the candidate and visit with them with your questions. There's space on here to write your comments. This is your sheet as you deliberate, as you talk about the relative strengths of each of them, to refer back to what you wrote here. We ask that you hang on to them. They'd be turned into Victor at the end. They'd be sent back to our office. We keep them on file for 5 years in case there's ever a challenge of the process. So 3 candidates, 3 days, schedule, interview. Questions?
Mr. Ron.
Thank you, President Ramsey. The schedules, you said July 22nd, 23rd, and 24th?
Yes.
The only thing we got is the 22nd. What happens to 23rd and 24th?
That's just a sample of the schedule.
Oh, in other words, it's going to be each
Mr.
day like
Gibson's
this.
going to go call the 3 individuals and get them scheduled for those 3 days.
In other words, each individual will be on a separate day?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Could we schedule those so you can contact, are you going to contact the folks along with Mr. Monero? I would say let's do it in, Mr. Monero, let's do it in alphabetical order. Mr. Dilworth first, and then
In deference to the candidates, we usually ask them
okay.
for a choice. And those that are traveling, those that are seated superintendents, sometimes have conflicts.
Yeah.
So Mr. Gibson's always calling them now.
Okay. But I would like to. Okay. Mr. Ronald, did you finish your question? Ms. Crawley is next.
Since the public can't see this agenda, would you please let them know what time they will be able to actually see the candidates?
Are these published on, can you put that on the webpage? Okay.
We'll make it available.
Okay.
But can
Thank
you tell them anyway, so they're
Yeah.
here? Thank you.
Any other questions? No one on the board? We have a move to adjourn.
Move to
by
adjourn.
Ms. Priest.
Second.
And a second. Please vote. Show the vote.
Well, there's one at 4:30, but it's not.
Out.